Good evening, citizens of AlphaGuard. Welcome to the semifinals of the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament. We have a couple, obviously a great matchup this late in the tournament. There are certainly no weak runners, haven't been for a while, but we have two great runners, two of the best in the community. On the left of your screen, you have Beta, and on the right of your screen you have Rye Guy. So yeah, both of these runners have been playing really well. Been very impressed with both of their play, but only one of these players can advance to the finals. We already have the other finalist waiting. That'd be Cherno. And whoever wins this race will join Cherno in the finals, and that'll be a great finals. But first things first, we have game one of a best of three. So we first to two wins. You see the medallions by the timer. None of them are lit up because neither of them have won a game yet. And so yeah, I am really looking forward to this race, and we'll be getting started underway very quickly. Yeah, and so yeah, we have about a few seconds before the start. We'll talk about starting stuff. We have pretty good stats. We have 20 strength, which is quite a high number. That'll allow him to kill enemies regardless of what the initial treasury gets us. And then we have acceptable other stats. So yeah, we should be good to go out of the gate. The agility's pretty terrible, so I expect to see both of them grind unless they get something like Erdrick's armor in the treasury. But I think the Erdrick's treasury will tell us exactly what we need to do. I think. Yeah, I mean, for those of us in chat, we all want them to have like 4 strength until level 6 or something, but we don't get our way very off, and we're off. So the king will give us some instructions. I don't know what they are. I never read them, but there we get a torch and something I didn't see because I was looking at the torch that they both have. So the torch isn't great. Oh, it looks like some gold. So probably not worth going out and exploring, but maybe it's a forced explore. Nope. Oh, well, there's a town. That's great. It is a town of coal. We will get a shop here, which is very valuable, but even more important is this search spot, or potentially more important, and it is the death necklace. So that's really interesting. So you saw Rye Guy search it a few times. You can get gold a little bit at a time, which is really interesting given this shop. There's a broadsword, which I assume both runners will get, and then there's half plate, full plate, and magic armor. So you can decide how much you want to sit here over and over getting this gold. You could either get 0, you could get 1,000 for the half plate, 3,000 for the full plate, or 7,700 for the magic armor. I doubt the runners will do that, but I've been surprised before. But definitely both runners will get at least 1,500 for that broadsword. Really good. Yeah, really good thing to get right away. Definitely worth the time there. And it looks like Rye Guy is going to get half plate, which makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we'll see what Beta does. Some predictions for magic armor in chat. Some predictions for full plate. Looks like both players went with half plate, which makes sense. Half plate is a very sizable upgrade, and 1,000, hitting the death necklace spot 10 times is a lot. A lot faster than hitting it 30 or 70 times, or something like that. But yeah, we see an early grind. Looks like the bottom of the map. So a lot going on in this early game. So yeah, with the broadsword and the half plate, certainly the early game is much easier. Zone 1 enemy or Zone 0 enemies, these Drakies are pretty free, and even you can see on beta side, even the Druid is doable, even though the Druid has weak breath. Beta's still able to take it out. So yeah, level 3 for beta. But without a lot of HP, and we see a cave on Rygai's side, and a wyvern. We're gonna try and sleep this down. An ambitious play, but one that is pretty has a pretty high value if you can get through it. But Hurtmore says nope. So yeah, Rygai will be sent back, and meanwhile Beta just kind of chipping away here. Going to try sleeping the Druid. Makes sense. Alright, so Beta gets level 4, it comes with a 10 power increase, which is quite impressive at this stage. So yeah, you could definitely take out a lot of things. And yeah, you could even see just Rygai just racing down this wolf. No sleep strats necessary, although it does take the majority of his health to do so. But pretty close game early on. We see one of the turn-in caves. And is that the other turn? No, that's the same turn-in cave. So that is the half-game save. So an ambitious sleep attempt. Beta almost out of resources, but gonna try and take down this wolf, and does. That's a pretty nice boost for Beta in this early game. Takes probably a wolf-size experience lead. So we get 6 power, 1 speed, 2 hit points, and 4 magic. But that magic doesn't do too much. Oh wow, an excellent move from Beta. Wasn't expecting level 6 right away, but the desperation, kind of not even a desperation, kind of a conceding the death, but hits the excellent move and gets level 6 for free. I doubt that'll work on this red dragon, but so Beta finally gets sent home. Meanwhile, Rygai also gets sent home, trying to run from a rogue scorpion. Yeah, Beta did really well at 3 HP, got 2 or 3 level ups. Did quite well. Oh, hey, look, there's another town. 1 tile off of start for Rygai. So we'll see what this town is. It's crazy. It's so close to home, but Beta hasn't seen it yet. It is Rimmildar, so actually the best possible town we could have found. And it is Rimmildar, so Beta finally sees it, having gone exactly an entire tile east of start. So he will find Rimmildar, and Beta actually has a little bit of money. I believe he's 1 gold short of 4 keys, if I read 211 gold right, but that's not a big deal. You see Rygai kind of go back to this Death Necklace search spot, and just get enough gold to get full keys very quickly. Yes, Rimmildar was exactly 1 tile east of start, and it took them 5, 6, 7 minutes for either of them to see it. Rygai with the terrible encounter luck initially. Yeah, getting a golem, so he's gonna have to go back to Cole to get some gold to get his keys. Oh no, he does. He's got plenty. Meanwhile, Beta finding the Silver Harp and the Stones of Sunlight in the treasury. So we've already seen the Staff of Rain. Sorry, yeah, the Staff of Rain cave. Wonder what Ragai wants to do here, taking enemies. Presumably not die. That was probably not part of the plan, but does die to a Rogue Scorpion, and yeah, Beta gets a little fighter's ring in the basement of Tantagel. So yeah, Ragai gonna have a few choice words for everybody's favorite enemy in the game, the Poltergeist. I think it is pretty accepted, common wisdom that Poltergeists are the worst enemy in the game. They are obnoxious. They don't give a lot of HP. They dodge. They kind of have a lot of hit points for how good they are. You know, just like all the numbers just don't work out in the Poltergeist favor. Yeah, we're gonna forget about the Poltergeist hopefully for the rest of the seed. They even have hurt more this time. So Beta is going back to Rimeldar to buy more keys. Oh, only bought 4 the first time around, so and spent a bunch of them. So needs to replenish, which makes some sense. Ragai hasn't even really bought his first key until now. So yeah, 9 minutes flown by. Lots of stuff happening on both sides. There's a oh, and Beta hasn't checked this one, unless this is something. Okay, it is a fairy flute. One of the most divisive items in the community. I love it. Some other people hate it. But yeah, Ragai finally getting his stuff, and a little bit of a deficit due to both Beta's fortunate encounter luck over in this area with sleep, and Ragai's unfortunate encounters with some poltergeists and golems and whatnot. But certainly not an insurmountable advantage at this point. I fully expect Ragai to kind of do his treasury checks and all that stuff and be not too far behind. It is a little bit nerve-wracking, dang, those keys, one tile off thing, and I'm just getting my treasury. If these things are any good, I'm in major trouble if there's Erdrick's sword or Erdrick's armor, but they're not. So we'll be in fine shape on Ragai's side as Beta gets a little visit from his friend the Red Dragon. Yeah, there's a lot of dangerous enemies right at start. I wonder if there's I haven't been paying too much attention to kind of the monster zones, the 15 by 15 kind of tile set where you can encounter certain enemies. But if there's a good, like the Wyvern zone or the Wolf zone, those are both great enemies at this point. And if we could hunt one of those out, I could see staying there for quite some time, at least until a healing spell, probably even more than that, given how dangerous the Red Dragons can be. Alright, we have a Drakima on Beta side and level 7, which will bring us 5 power, 1 speed, 25 hit points, 5 magic, and stop spell. So while the hit points seem pretty nice, we don't have any healing to make it go farther, and our only access to healing is a really long walk to the coal shop or the coal item shop. So I don't expect either runner to do that. But yeah, you see like a little light expiration on Ragai's side. He's like, oh, there's a little like thing over here. Ooh, a metal slime. That's pretty exciting. I think hurt is doable. It could run, but other than that, we're hoping to take it down. That would really help out because Beta's been grinding really well, and Rygai really needs to catch up. And I believe that's 3. Yeah, it is. So that's a big 160 experience on Rygai's side. That'll give him level 6. But it's still at a pretty significant deficit against Beta's dedicated grind. This has been really good for Beta, even though there are weak, kind of, I'll say, D tier enemies in the Druid and the Poltergeist. There's still at least enough good enemies that Beta is happy to stay here. So Rygai has been kind of walking around in this, like, kind of top zone. I'm somewhat surprised given the Poltergeist encounter. Okay, Beta takes a Magic Wyvern. That's huge. That is, outside of our Metal Slime, that is by far the biggest chunk of experience we've been able to take. Meanwhile, it is paired with the Rogue Scorpion, which finishes Beta off. So, yeah, Rygai gets level 7. Yeah, and kind of, we said, like, Rygai had a little bit of an early deficit, has caught up quite a bit. The Metal Slime really, really helped, but still a little bit behind in the experience. And without a lot of prospect for us to go and explore and find things, I think this is just like an experience, kind of a grinding type of seed where you really want to sit down, just fight some enemies. Oh wow, okay. So I think Beta's found a really nice zone here. So it has Rogue Scorpions, Magic Wyverns, and Druid Lords. I think it also has, I've seen a Slime and a Druid lately. But yeah, I mean, if the zone's not too bad otherwise, okay, Heal More is huge. That's exactly the type of thing that you grind for. But honestly, you could just stay here for a very, very long time. Warlock's also totally acceptable experience gain. But yeah, I mean, the Magic Wyvern is like kind of the choice enemy here. And meanwhile, you just see Rygai with all these like wizards and golems and red dragons, and you're just a much worse enemy set on balance. Ooh, a dodge sends Beta back, so that'll cost him a minute or two, just resetting and healing, getting back to that zone. But yeah, so far I just think Beta, unsurprising to anybody who's watched Beta race quite a bit, Beta's really, really good at finding initial grinds and sustained grinds like this. So it's no surprise that Beta has found what I believe to be the superior grind by quite a bit. It's not that Rygai hasn't looked, but yeah, he's kind of settling for like, oh, this is good enough, whereas Beta's just like, yep, I found a better one. I think he's even looking in the same zone. I'm not sure he'll be happy with all this stuff, but maybe these wizards are pretty appealing if you can stop spell them. Yeah, and you see 120 experience points is quite a good return from a wizard, even if it takes a bit and some stop spell shenanigans. But yeah, Beta is actually been like, okay, maybe this zone is actually better down here with the Wolf Lords, which are great enemies, and the wizards, which are super good enemies. It's not clear to me, I haven't counted, but it feels like Rygai's in a different zone, and one that is definitely worse. But I also believe Beta is in a zone with golems. Yeah, so we see level 9 from Beta, and level 8 from Ryguy. So about a full level lead for Beta thus far. Yeah, and so Ryguy gets his heal more, which is great news for him after the big HP level, makes a lot of stuff more palatable. But yeah, Beta seems to be really liking this zone. So it looks like Wizards, Wolf Lords, Drakimaz. I believe there's Golem. I believe Ryguy found a Golem here. All right, Beta out of resources and is sent back by a wizard. So so the wizards have some amount of stop spell resist. It's definitely hard for either runner to tell, given that they've only tried a handful of times. But I believe Beta is 2 for 3 success and Ryguy is 0 for 2. I could be off on that, but you could definitely see that Beta is very interested in the wizards, while Ryguy is not, based on their initial experiences. But Ryguy is interested in this green dragon, and I don't blame him. They have weak breath. As long as they don't have a heal or sleep attached to that weak breath, we're in pretty good shape. And again, 135 experience is a lot. Even if it takes, most of our magic to get through, it is definitely worth it. I believe the Rogue Scorpion Magic Wyvern zone has like either Druins or Slimes. I can't tell which one is which. So it's not exclusive. There were Druin Lords as well. So I thought that zone was quite good, but Beta seems to either want to explore, or didn't like it that much. Okay, so now Beta learns about the big breath from the Star Wyvern, which sent Ryguy home. So yeah, so Ryguy is definitely seen way more of the, I'll call them, painful enemies in this seed. Yeah, these wyverns are actually no fun too. They have hurt more, but a lot of times we're going to sleep them, and they haven't used it too much, even though it looks like it's a lot. Maybe they've just been asleep the whole time. And Beta gonna try and take out a red dragon. Pretty ambitious, given that they can very easily attack you for more than 50% of your HP, so you're gonna have to spend a lot of magic to be safe. But if you get it, biggest enemy in the game by a lot. 350 experience, tied with the Golem, and the second highest is just over half that with 180. And red dragons have heal more. So we will not be fighting red dragons, although we could, try and stop spell them, but that's, even more, more time consuming. So yeah, this seed is very, very heavy on the abilities. Not a lot of punching going on. So meanwhile, Ryguy finds a town, an exploration. It is Garenham. That is one of the better towns we can find now that we've already found Cole and Rimuldar. We'll get 3 chests and a cave in the after buying some herbs and healing up and blah blah blah. Maybe even checking the shop. The shop might have a large shield or something like that, but nothing too exciting in shop, because we're already kind of got pretty good gear. And Ryguy not even going to bother checking. So yeah, Ryguy really wants to find one of Erdrick's items in this, in one of these 3 chests, or perhaps in the cave behind it. It's not that Beta won't get here eventually. We got the tease, Erdrick's token. So we are actually pretty good on the homework. We have all 3 quest items. We have the Staff of Rain, the Silver Harp, Stones of Sunlight, Erdrick's token, and we've already traded in the Silver Harp for the Staff of Rain. So we just need to find our Rainbow Drop Turning Cave, and then we can open up Sharlock. Not that we are in any state of being to actually do so, but it's nice to, you know, it's nice to do all your homework in class, you know. They're just kind of, it's on the path. All right, and we have this swamp cave in the back of Garenham for Ryguy. I think it is quite reasonable to check the spike tile, but only if we make it past this blue dragon, which, correct me if you've heard this before, has hurt more. So yeah, just like lots of crazy enemies. This might be a stop spell MVP seed, given that so many of the enemies have abilities. But yeah, Ryguy lands a stop spell. And the blue dragon seems to be wanting to cast spells a lot, so this is looking good for Ryguy. Yeah, I'll say on balance, blue dragons are one of the worst high tier enemies, given that it is mostly as difficult as some of the, you know, the red, you know, slightly easier than a red dragon, but not that much easier, and also worth half the experience. So Ryguy goes through instead of checking the spike, which is defensible, and immediately finds a town on the other side of Swamp Cave. So we'll check that out. And it is Hawk's Nest. We are... If I'm Ryguy, I want to go back there. I want to heal up and go back there and check that stuff out. See if there's one of these enemies that you can stop spell and grind immediately. Yeah, I mean, if they're blue dragons, either in Hawk's Nest or on the Swamp Cave Spike, that's much better than what Beta is doing, which is not bad. You see Beta's pretty substantial experience lead with this dedicated grind, but Ryguy can certainly make up that gap in a few minutes if there's a great enemy on one of the spike tiles. Yeah, so this is kind of one of the things I really enjoy about Dragon Warrior Randomizer is kind of the duality of exploring and grinding. So you could see Beta on the left here really going to town on the grinding part of it. That's why it has a huge experience lead. And so just getting stronger before going out and doing stuff. But you see Ryguy has been on the kind of a mixed thing, mostly exploring, but also sitting down trying to get some of these great enemies. But really has potential with by finding 2 different spike tiles. So we'll see which one comes out here. But yeah, meanwhile, Beta a level 11, while Ryguy hits his 2nd metal slime down, which is pretty big deal. I missed most of level 11, but I did see 34 MP, which is hilarious. So if I'm in Beta's shoes, your stats are really good for, I'll say, not dying, even to like dangerous red dragons. And so, meanwhile, I think Raigai has found the mountain cave, so that's very good for him. These are another there are 5 items in here that we may or may not be able to get, but we'll do our best. And if we do get them, some of them can be Erdrick's Sword or Erdrick's Armor. Again, this is why exploring might be good, to get items so that you can go back and grind more effectively. But we'll see if Raigai can get through on pretty minimal resources, honestly. Yeah, as Chad is pointing out, both players have gotten large shields in different towns or whatever, so they're freely accessible if we wanted to spend the time and actually go get them. But now, 29 minutes in, both players have them. Large shield, pretty good, because I believe it definitely helps Beta survive these red dragon hits. Although he probably had enough HP to survive them 2 hits anyway. It certainly doesn't hurt going forward. But yeah, now you can just see Beta's like, yeah, I can just take one of these down. It'll take, a minute and a half, but it's worth. Okay, Raigai using his last herb and no MP to run from this blue dragon. So gets the first chest in mountain, which I missed. It was probably really important. We get a key in the second chest, which is not particularly important given that we already have them. Alright, so Raigai gets to run away on top of the chest and gets rewarded with a cursed belt. And gold. So Beta here, taking a lot of damage from this red dragon, actually getting saved by his large shield, went down to 3 HP. But yeah, I mean, taking out red dragons, I won't say they're no big deal because it's taken them a while, but it is a big deal, these 350 experience points. Oh, have we seen all of the cursed belts? All right, so one thing that's very interesting about how the randomizer works is cursed belts are terrible items. If you put them on, they do nothing but hurt you, and you have to go to Breckenridge to remove them. But if you simply by knowing where they are, if you find 3 of them, for each one that you find, you know that one of the search spots is populated with one of the key items. So there are 3 search spots, one in Coal, one in Hawksness, and one on the coordinates. So once we found, now in this seed, we have found all 3 cursed belts. So we know that all 3 of them are populated with something. However, there are only certain items that can show up on those search spots, and we have found all of them but 2. So we've found the Fairy Flute, the Death Necklace, Silver Harp, Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's Token. So Raigai knows where all of those are. I left out 2 of the 2 of the items that could be on there, which are Erdrick's Sword and Erdrick's Armor. So we know, because we found 3 cursed belts, we know that those 2 items are in Hawksness and on the coordinates in some order. We don't know which order, but we know that both of those super valuable items, where they are approximately. We have not found Cantlin to get the coordinates, but we have found Hawksness on Raigai's side. So if I'm Raigai, I'm making a beeline for Hawksness, because you know that you can take out a lot of those enemies. and you know that there's something really good there. So yeah, I'm Beta here. I don't think he has not found the mountain cave, so he doesn't have all of this knowledge. However, he's going to find it in order that allows him to just fight whatever's on the tile. We saw him taking out Red Dragon, so he could take anything out. And he'll get his either his Erdrick Sword or his Erdrick's Armor, and he is levels up, so this is looking really good for Beta. And yeah, meanwhile, Ryguy takes a pretty bad death to a Red Dragon. Couldn't tell if he was trying to take it out or not, but either way, did not. Meanwhile, we have a Stone Man. I believe this is on the spike, so not a grindable spike. Well, technically grindable, but not very good. Stoneman, probably the worst enemy, or the weakest enemy on the to grind. So yeah, Beta puts the Stone Man to sleep, sings a nice lullaby, and gets Erdrick's Sword. So that will probably be the last Stone Man Beta fights this seed. So I'm not sure where the mountain cave is here, but I think it's mostly a bust. I guess it gives you Cursed Belt knowledge. But yeah, we only have one item to find left. It is Erdrick's Armor, and we know it is on the coordinates, so we need to find the town of Cantlin. Saw earlier in the seed Beta checking the bottom of the map, kind of setting up a reversed count of the coordinates if that comes up. So, and if that doesn't come up, this swamp cave is right here on Beta's screen, so rescuing the princess is not a problem. But I mean, the really big thing is finding Cantlin. Like, I bet this is the mountain cave. So Beta still should be checking stuff because he doesn't have the Cursed Belt knowledge. One of these chests could be the sword, but we here in chat knows that it is not going to be here. All right, so you see, Ryguy making his way through the swamp cave, presumably to go back to Hawksness. All right, Beta can't resist opening up the chest that's one tile away, and so gets his gold, and then he outsides, and that's one of the, I say that kind of recognition is one of the things that makes Beta one of the best runners in this community. I think he has a very good, kind of game sense and uses all the information, has really good game knowledge. So not surprised to see him spot that. Certainly something that I have missed, and I did miss in my tournament races. So yeah, now Beta, with the levels, like his exploration really fast, and is basically caught up to Ryguy in exploration, and all he has to show for it is, a 1700 experience point lead. That's really huge. So Beta in really good shape here. Yeah, I mean, that being said, Ryguy does find his Erdrick's Sword. It's a little disappointing for him, couldn't, first time found a Hawksness, didn't have enough resources to take anything out. And despite being the first to find Hawk's Nest, was the second to defeat the enemy, which had a pretty important Erdrick sword on it. So yeah, in terms of things that we need to do and things that could introduce some sort of volatility here, I think there are three big things. So one is finding Caitlin, could be anywhere. The second is finding Sharlock, also could be anywhere. Those could be, we haven't explored much of the map. Those could be, really, really hidden, and one of the two runners could find it and the other one couldn't. And the third is thing that happens every siege, Sharlock itself, filled with all sorts of terrible enemies, many of which we will want to run from. So Beta saw a town. Well, at least I saw a town on Beta screen. Presumably Beta also saw the town, but it couldn't quite get to it. It was at the top of the map, and I'm not sure where it was, where the second continent is, Swamp Cave. So we'll see if it is easy to get to that location, or that could have just, could it have been just like Rimmildar from the first con? I didn't see the swamp layout, or the. Yeah, I didn't see if did the mystery town have swamp around it, because that Rimmildar does. Yeah, we'll see how Beta tries to piece this together. Definitely paying a lot more attention than we are in chat, because they're the ones racing and we're not. We're just hanging out. Beta getting blocked by the NPCs, one of the least favorite things in all of Dragon Warrior, getting blocked by NPCs. So Beta seems to be checking the Swamp Cave spike? Okay, great, because previous visits outside was cast, so see if we want to check the spike, but there's not. Yeah, I'm not sure how many enemies I'd be liking over a overworld Red Dragon grind. Armored Knight, not one of them. I hate Armored Knights. I try and avoid them. I would rather take Blue Dragon grinds in most cases than Armored Knights. The big exception being is if you have Hurt More, you can Hurt More Armored Knights twice. Wow. Okay, this is not something I expected. This is a preemptive princess rescue from Beta, who takes pride in being able to count almost anything. I see, I like rescuing the princess because I can barely count when not playing Dragon Warrior Randomizer. So I have a very difficult time counting while playing Dragon Warrior Randomizer. I don't know if he has a wings to get back and drop the princess off, or if he's just gonna, take the princess on a world tour, Aladdin style. But I think Beta might have forgot his magic carpet. Oh yeah, I forgot. When I was counting down things that we haven't found yet, we also haven't found the rainbow drop turning cave. So that could be, we have to find quite a few things. Even though we have found most of the items and we know where the last item is. We just haven't found the locations that we, to do our things. So full plate upgrade from beta. I wonder how long we'll have that one for. We'll probably have that full plate between, 2 minutes and 34 minutes, depending on our exploration luck. Yeah, I don't think there are wings in our inventory. So yeah, it looks like the princess is going on a world tour. One of the nice things is that if we do find Cantlin and find the coordinates, which is the reason why you would rescue the princess, there are wings there so that we could get home if necessary. What was that cave that Beta just skipped? Oh, okay. He is actually walking all the way back home. So that was the Staff of Rain trading cave. And yeah, Ryguy taking another bad death to a red dragon. That's those add up when you kind of die to a red that you could definitely defeat. So despite that death, Ryguy has closed the experience gap a little bit, not a ton. Beta still enjoying about a 1,300 experience point lead, but it was 1,700, 1,800 a few minutes ago, so that is progress. Yeah, chat brings up a good point. Ryguy missed a stop spell on the red dragon, which I think was one of the first times we saw it miss, which definitely affects the efficiency of your grind if you're planning on overworld grinding. But like Ryguy showed, you should still be taking red dragons here. They're worth so much experience, so even if they are a little cumbersome at this point. All right, so Beta finding some new space for us as viewers, while Ryguy actually catches up on level. So they're both level 13, although Beta almost to level 14 at this point. Kind of 3/4 of the way, 2/3 of the way. I don't know how to count. Yeah, Ryguy going to stop off for a refill in Garenham, while Beta does find one of our missing locations, which is Sharlock. It may have just found 2 of our missing locations. There's a town here, which could be our beloved Cantlin. It is Breckenary. So Beta will take a quick stop at the inn. And not quite a full Brexit, but oh, so yeah, that is a good point. So the town Beta saw that we couldn't get to is Cantlin. Okay, and all this stuff connects back up. So I believe this is a single continent because Beta found a mystery cave, but it was Mountain Cave, which we'd already been to. So puts Beta back to where he was earlier. Oh, this was Grave. Ignore everything that I said. It was great. I thought it was Mountain, but it was Grave, but we can ignore Grave because we already found all of our items. It is not a single continent that we know of. I think only Beta saw the East Coast town. I'm not sure Ryguy has. Could be wrong because like Ryguy's been in that area. But we will see. So Beta trying to get as far east. So this town was on a northeast corner of a landmass. I'm not sure where that landmass was, but we know it's on the northeast corner. So he's trying to go east as much as he can and then find the top of something. Not necessarily knowing where that is. All right, so more caves. We are going to wonder how many caves we've seen, but that is not the Rainbow Drop Turn-In Cave. So we will continue to search for more caves. Yeah, Beta has looked in the caves, but not for very long. He just wants to see what they are. All right, so yeah, we're down to one town, one cave. That town is important. It is Cantlin with our coordinates. And that cave is important. It is our Rainbow Drop Turn-In Cave. So we found all the irrelevant things. Alright, so Ryguy going to find Garen's grave and the town of Breckenary. It could be like, oh, that could be so exciting. It could be all three things I need all right here. It's like, well, what about only Sherlock? So now Beta's in an interesting position with level 14. His stats are go-ish, and that he could go if he needed to, but has so much to do and is going to walk around so much that it's probably just better to take the level. And you can see him already, you know, kind of making progress towards said level, but you know, just has a lot of walking to do. It's gonna refill here in Breckenary again. So this could be a good good opportunity for Ryguy if Ryguy feels like level 14 is sufficient. He's not that far from it, and Beta's extra experience is not much of an advantage, except for being safer in Sherlock, which, while it has value, is not like a guarantee. So yeah, I think this is kind of an exploration race. It's kind of weird because Ryguy, you would think Ryguy would have the advantage, given that he explored it significantly earlier, but Beta's been so efficient in his grinding and leveling that he kind of caught up in amount of places he's looked and has actually seen more of the map than Ryguy, so and has a better idea on where to go. Like you see Ryguy kind of walking in this area that is empty, at least for our purposes, and Beta is already done. All right, so yeah, Ryguy kind of sees, oh, is this my trading cave? Nope. He kind of gets the information. Now they're kind of on, I'll say, mostly equal footing in terms of exploration. But you can kind of see Beta going to be the first to find new space, and Ryguy going to be following along. Although they're pretty close to each other right now. Yeah, I mean, Beta taking enemies, you know, so valuable that he's gonna get 15 no problem. And might even, like, depending on what it is, might even be incentivized to go to 16. Yeah, it's interesting. Wizards are pretty good enemies to take, but both of the wizards on both sides have like taken, you know, 4 or 5 rounds to get through. And so it feels really painful to kind of sit there while you're desperately looking for stuff. It's like I'd much rather be walking. But Beta going to take level 15. It brings 1 strength, 4 speed, 6 hit points, 1 MP, and the ever important spell of heal, which Beta feels compelled to cast right away. Not a great level. If you didn't think 14 was go, you probably don't think 15 is go either. Yeah, and you see Beta just continuing to take fights. Pretty clear indication that he does not think he is at go level. Yeah, I'm also confused on where these things might be. I bet they're pretty close to each other. My best guess is, like, I couldn't tell if the second continent was fully explored. But yeah, I mean, they still, this exploration is still worthwhile. Okay, here is our turn-in cave. So this exploration was not fruitless. Now Beta has to, probably wants to death warp, but you know, death warping 121 HP is not the easiest thing in the world to do. All right, so yeah, and, you know, like I said, Ryguy was a little bit behind Beta, but not too far. Gets his turn in cave. And so, yeah, again, we're at exploration parity just about. Yeah, that's also my guess. So my guess on how to get to Cantlin is via the second continent. Beta it was definitely way out of the way, and it would have been a pretty long walk, but Beta looking like Beta wanting to take a death warp, does take a death warp, and we'll see where Beta wants to go next. Okay, you know, casual land a hurt more on a red dragon and then die, you know. Good job, right guy. So Beta going this way makes me wonder if he actually did see the mystery town. But maybe it is actually just here, and like this is kind of our fake edge of the map that we were looking at earlier. It's very confusing. Alright, the runners being good sports give each other high fives as they cross each other on the map. 59 minutes into the seed. So this has felt like, you know, kind of your classic, not a jet seed, not quite a jet seed, but also not a slog either. You know, there's definitely easy to make progress early on, but the seed didn't give up all of its secrets immediately. So Ragai just going on a hurt more spree, hurt more red dragons, hurt more the ground, hurt more the star wyvern. Really liking hurt more. Star wyvern's like, oh, hurt more's cool. Look what I got. I got something better than that. Yeah, I think we saw all the stuff around Sharlock. We found Breckenary and the Grave and the Stone, not the Stone's Cave, Erdrick's Cave. This is, you know, kind of unexplored territory, but I'm not sure that we're going to find anything here, because I believe Cantlin is on a north coast somewhere. And my best guess is second continent, but neither of these runners, I don't even think Rygai's seen that, so like this makes sense for Rygai not having seen stuff. It could even just be here where you see some water to the north of us. But I don't know if Rygai's actually seen the mystery town, and Beta is playing like he didn't see it. Or maybe this is just where Beta thinks it is. Because, you know, we don't have a great grasp of where it could be. And so Beta's back to the Sharlock area. Alright, Beta taking full advantage of Breckenary in this seed. This is his third trip to this inn. Yeah, I think now that Rygai is kind of, I believe Rygai has seen everything in this area of the map. And so I do believe it is second count, or there could be some weird routing by Garenham. We haven't really seen that. But maybe Ragai hasn't seen everything. He seems to be still exploring. Yeah, I highly doubt, based on something in chat, I highly doubt this is the first uncompletable seed in this tournament. So yeah, there is a path to Caitlyn. I can say that with some amount of confidence. It's just that both runners are having the exact same struggle in actually finding it. This is often like a big decider of races. This kind of exploration is like one person finds it, one person doesn't, and you know that's a pretty big determining factor in who wins the seed. But in this case, the runners have been so close on not finding the exact same things that it's actually evened out quite a bit. And I would say Beta's had advantages in experience for most of the seed, like now enjoys a 2,600 experience point lead. I think that's not nearly that important, especially if Ragai is going to feel behind and want to get aggressive, and could win on 14 or 15. But again, you can only win if you find all the stuff, which we have definitely not done. Meanwhile, Beta gets level 16. Gets some stuff, gets 11 HP, an extra heal more, a couple attack power, and I think it's safely at a go level. So I would be surprised if Beta continues to take enemies. Although he did take one red dragon. Okay, this is somewhat interesting. Beta either death warping or taking another level, which significantly surprises me. I feel like this is quite comfortable, but Beta does not. Yeah, I think without belt knowledge, I think a gamble on the armor being in Charlock and diving Charlock instead of trying to find Caitlyn is a very reasonable play. But we do know that because we've seen 3 cursed belts, we know that all of the search spots have to be active, and the only combination we haven't seen is the coordinates plus with Erdrick's armor, so we know that has to be there, and there's not going to be anything in Charlock itself. Yeah, I think they're just both very confused on where it might be, because they are retracing steps. So Ragai is going to Garenham. So this is, I believe, is on the correct direction, only because we've seen so much of the other directions. Yeah, I'm believing to think that, so I think there's 2 possibilities based on what I've observed. And I could be wrong, I've been wrong before. But, so, Ragai is in Caitlyn, or in Garenham here. I believe there could be something just to the south of where he is. that gets a path to our town of Cantlin, or what Ryguy is doing, going through the swamp cave and kind of going due south from the swamp cave and kind of taking the long way around, because we've at least on beta screen we as viewers have seen this. So like I think it might be down here would be my thing. I believe that beta missed Cantlin. It's kind of, you know, at just a couple tiles at the south of the screen, and there are dozens of us, and not that many of beta. There's only one beta, so it might be through here. I believe Ryguy might have gotten the path. This is one of the places I believe might have been the case, or where Cantlin might be. Okay, if this is a dead end, it might be on the other side of this kind of river thing. Okay, oh yeah, okay, so this is, if you go across this bridge, if you go across this bridge and start exploring this, like, kind of southern island here, you could see Cantlin from that. All right, well, looks like it was here all along. Beta finally finding the town of Cantlin. So, it's yeah, basically a race to this location. Yeah, see, there's the town of Cantlin right there. So Ryguy can see it. Now just has to figure out how to get to it. I think, oh wow. What are these coordinates? I haven't been paying super close attention to the map. It's 81 north, 10 west. Not clear to me if this is first or second continent. Aaron, I have very bad news for you, in that Beta has already rescued the princess, so I do not believe we'll be counting. I know. Beta probably disliked the play as he was making. He was like, darn, I really want to reverse count. I think Beta is the most critical of this play. Yeah, I mean, certainly Beta's found Cantlin first, but you can't do a 15-20 minute search for one location and feel good about things. You know, little did we know, found it first. Ryguy's still struggling. It was a struggle for both players. And Beta's in great shape. But Beta's not going to feel like that. Absolutely not. Yeah, so Beta gets another modest level, level 17. I'm somewhat surprised that Beta took this level, but it certainly gives us a extra survivability. We could use the Death Necklace if we're so inclined, but we don't need to. Yeah, we got plenty of goods. I probably wouldn't use the Death Necklace because it, risks some low HP double heal more situations on the Dragon Lord. Yeah, it looks like Ryguy going the wrong way. Beta spent, I don't know, 10 minutes here. Okay, so we do have a second continent search. The Swamp Cave exit not too far from the actual coordinates, and Beta gets his armor. So Beta needs to make the long, arduous walk to Charlock. He is good to go. He's going to take one last stop at the most useful town in all of Alphagard, which is Breckenary, and then should be starting his dive. One thing that's interesting here, and this might have played into Beta's decision to kind of take level 17 while wandering about, is Charlock is absurdly far from start. If you get sent home, that is a painful death. Even in the first, even if you don't get very far into Charlock, taking a death is catastrophic. At least you have, the wonderful town of Breckenary to heal up right before you get in, or, if you need to abandon a dive, you can, kind of outside. But yeah, we definitely don't want to be taking deaths here. All right, Beta making me eat my words doesn't even state at Garenham instead of Breckenary, and is in Charlock. We've seen some interesting stuff from enemies, a lot of abilities, but most importantly, none of them sleep. We have the extra magic for a stop spell on a spikes tile, and extra heals, but should be a pretty safe dive. Didn't see too many DL2 breaths. I think the Star Wyvern has DL2 breath, and that's it. But while Beta is in Charlock, Ryguy hits level 16, which doesn't give a lot of stats, but really nicely it gives us return, which I think some wings would have been really nice to see if we had them, but we're not going to go walk all the way to Cole to buy them, and Charlock was the thing, or Cantlin was the town we couldn't find, so we didn't exactly have easy access to wings. Oh, is Ryguy out of keys? What does Ryguy need? Ryguy would need keys for checking the coordinates in Cantlin. So if Ryguy is out of keys, that's a disaster. Yeah, due to some scheduling quirks, #blame Slamu, one side of the bracket finished much earlier than the other side of the bracket, so we have a finalist already. Cherno is waiting in the finals. Shout out to Cherno in chat. And these two are going to run this race today, as you can see, and we'll be here same time tomorrow evening. and to do it all over again. And so they're gonna try and I think so. Yeah, definitely give our runners a follow. They're both doing great, putting on a show. Okay, Ryguy seems to be on the path to Cantlin. Oh, look, there it is. Wow, that was not hard to get to if you knew where to go. Both runners, I have to feel both runners are just like totally panicked. It's like, how did the other person miss this too? Uh-oh. Ryguy forgot his keys. So that's a, you know, quality 3 to 4 minute time loss. Good thing Cantlin wasn't like a million miles away, but still very painful. I mean, that could be relevant. I think that gives, you know, if we're talking about leads in terms of number of Sharlock dives, that probably puts Beta at over a Sharlock dive lead. Maybe he was already over that because, you know, you still have to go get coordinates, etc., etc. But certainly, giving up time like that is not great. Well, heck, I don't think I'd want to be either runner at the discovery of Cantlin. Like, I feel like both runners will think they are miles behind. But as it is, Beta, well, okay, Armor Knight needs to get out of the way, but Beta is not too far from starting his DL1 fight. He doesn't have any herbs. Is going to preemptive Death Necklace, which is pretty smart when you don't have that you're not at full HP anyway. It kind of saves you a turn, and when you don't get any of the benefit. But yeah, I mean, look at Beta's attack power, 146. That is a lot. That's the only pejorative I can really use. So yeah, Beta gets first action and gets an opening single because he wasn't at full HP. But yeah, you get some like weird things here where he has to double heal more here. Barely has over max HP, so some bad heal more rolls could cause this. And if y'all want to count in chat, have fun. I don't, as I've said many times, I do not know how to count. But I do know that Beta's range is 23 max, so 11 min. So that's pretty high. And it looks like middle of the pack rule should do it. I don't think losing that heal more was going to doom Beta's fight. I have been informed that Beta has 1277-ish damage thus far, so I think that means it is in good shape. Yeah, so if you're in Ryguy's shoes, it's like, okay, I have botched a seed. I have hurt mortared red dragon. I have radianted a red dragon. Took me 9 years to find Cantlin, and I did so without keys. What could possibly go wrong? And the first thing you think of is like, oh, I'm on level 16. That's a sketchy level. I should try and not go on 16. But in any event, Beta at level 17 manages to finish off the Dragon Lord, return with the Ball of Light, and will be our Game 1 winner. So Beta and the Princess are both won Game 1. So yeah, get your GGs out in chat for Beta. Yeah, and to get back to like kind of Rygai's strategy here or whatever, it is definitely correct to, in his place to like, okay, I'm gonna go get my Erdrick's armor before I try and start my grind, and he decided that the red dragons were his grind, so this all makes sense. But yeah, certainly the being somehow second to find Caitlyn, despite Beta taking, I don't know how long, 15-20 minutes. I think if you right order this seed, like this seed you could finish in, you know, say hour 15-ish or something like that. So there's definitely time to give here, based on the exploration luck. No, Ragai finally was able to find Caitlyn and now has the armor and is just getting level 17 here. And with that, we are joined by Beta. Congratulations on your Game 1 win. Yeah, a heck of a seed. I'm interested in kind of your thought progression as you went through seed. What went well for you? What didn't go well for you? I have a guess on the ladder, but go ahead.
Well, I thought that I generally approached the seed correctly. We were pretty well hemmed in at the start. Like, there was that forest zone we had to walk through to get to everything except for apparently Caitlyn. But the one main route out of start to get to everything else was through that irritating red dragon zone, and we had low MP for quite a while, and I just thought it made sense to sit down and grind. And then everything felt like it went decently except for the hunt for Caitlyn. I mean, at least thanks to the fact that I had full belt knowledge, like I could just bail on Mountain Cave instantly. As soon as I saw that third belt, I didn't have to go into grave, I didn't have to dive tablet. It was just a panicked dash to try to find the rainbow drop trade and then to find Caitlyn.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I also thought you did the start of the seed quite well. You had a pretty big experience lead and was fine. You know, you found like 2 different good grinds. That was pretty good. And then your exploration was also really good. So Ryguy found some stuff earlier. Like he found Garenham, Hawksness, Mountain, but did so without a lot of resources. So you were actually the first to the sword, but not by a lot. The seed was quite close. And yes, you're like, I'm sure you had a lot of words for Caitlyn. That's a good name for the seed, apparently Caitlyn. And so, yeah, but both of you didn't find Caitlyn for like, I want to say 15 to 20 minutes. You both kind of went in the same thing, both had to find the rainbow drop, both had belt knowledge. Kind of very similar thing. You pretty much had an experience lead because Ryguy didn't grind as much early on. But that was pretty much the only difference, except for you decided to check the Cantlin direction first. I have a question. So you early on, you explored, I'll say like the second continent, and did you see where Cantlin was on your screen?
I thought I saw a town, but I wasn't entirely sure where that correlated on the map. I just knew it was somewhere to the north. But of course, at the time, I didn't know that was Cantlin. It's like I just saw a random town, and it's just like, oh, okay, that's pretty far to the north. So it's like when I was really hunting Cantlin, especially in the late stage, like I was like looking east of Charlock and north, and like I'm like, there's got to be some sort of path to the northeast to get to what I thought I saw, because like I'm just like, I'm not hallucinating. I know that was a town, and I know it's to the north.
Great. Yeah.
But I just didn't know how to get to it, and of course, a lot of the searching like in the seed was just for Rainbow Drop Cave. Like that took forever to find.
Right. And so you both kind of, I'll say, found the Rainbow Drop Cave through normal exploration. You walked around a bunch or whatever. You weren't like retracing steps or couldn't find it. Like you found it in normal thing. But the Cantlin thing is like, okay, both of you were like, I should have found this by now. That's how I felt. But it was like, yeah, just kind of weirdly tucked in a place that wasn't well explored. But yeah, we'll see Rye Guy just entering Charlock, level 17. So, in good shape, just like, Beta was on his dive. So it should be a good dive, hopefully. Famous last words.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw Cantlin, I'm like, I might have just lost. Like, I cover the race room in tournament races, and I do it in casual now too, so I don't get distracted. But when I saw Cantlin and like knowing that the armor was on the coordinates, I'm like, like armor would have been great to have for most of the seed with all the hurt morphs coming out and the breath attacks and all that stuff, and just the heal walking, because like it seemed like red dragons were just about everywhere on the overworld. Like I saw them all over the place.
Right. You didn't do a dedicated grind and hit level 17, which is, not something happens every day. But like, yeah, like you said, I mean, I don't know how many red dragons you took down, but it felt like, 15 to 20-ish or something like that.
Seemed like it was at least a dozen. And like I knew 16 was certainly like heavy favorite territory, but at the same time there's like doubles math involved with that. Like I don't think I was at Death Necklace HP yet on 16. I think I was just short of it. And it's like, if the overworld's just gonna keep forcing me to take red dragons, like I tried to run from one at one point, got mercy ruled. So I'm like, if I'm just gonna keep getting force fed these things, I'm just gonna kill them all while I hunt Cantlin, and then by the time I actually get Cantlin and dive Charlock, it'll basically be free.
And yeah, that's basically what happened. Like, I think both 15 and 16 were doable, but kind of sketchy. Whereas once you got enough HP to use the Death Necklace, it was mostly free.
It didn't feel like I had a lot left at the end of that Dragonlord fight. Like I was rolling a lot of 12s. Like I can roll 23 with this attack power. Like why am I seeing so many 12s?
Yeah. I think it was definitely given your rolls, and like you had like, you pre-Death Necklace and only got an opening single, and not even that because you had to double heal more, and your rolls were low, and it was still comfortable. So it's definitely, I don't think you have to, get at least somewhat fortunate. Something has to go right for a level 16 victory.
I think the truly weird thing about this seed is like, I don't think I was ever getting like particularly upset with it. I mean, I was getting trolled a fair bit with all the dodging. Like there was a Magiwyvern where I swung at it and it dodged, didn't kill me. Like I was guaranteed to kill it if I hit it. So like there's a lot of dodging happening and things like that, and like spam red dragon encounters on the overworld. But I felt that other than looking for Cantlin, that the seed was relatively simple, relatively straightforward. Like we started with a ton of attack power. We had the Death Necklace tile grind in coal, which was for broadsword, and then you can get half plate. And I did not check the rim shop for a long time for a shield because I didn't have enough money when I was in position to do that. So like once I had the committed grind and got to the gold threshold to actually buy it, that's when I looked and saw it. But I feel like most of the seed played pretty straightforward with how the zones were with the Sharlock tier stuff and just having to sit and grind for a while.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that you and Ragai also had very similar gear setups for most of the seeds. So you both you had the option of half plate, full plate magic armor, and you both chose, or nothing, and you both chose half plate. Neither of you chose to check the rim shop and get the large shield right away. Ragai actually got his large shield in Garanham. Right, kind of not too far ahead of when you got your large shield in Rimeldar. That, just that sort of thing. And you had very similar equipment almost the whole seed. But Ragai got trolled a lot more in the early game. Partly because he kind of tried to get through some of the Red Dragon stuff, but he found a golem kind of pretty close to start that toasted him. The poltergeist hurt more, killed him kind of early. So you got out to a pretty good experience lead early. Mostly due to Ragai taking random hurt more deaths early.
Yeah, I remember seeing I think Druins had weak breath or something. It's just when you're in the early game, it doesn't take a lot to kill you at the low HP at the first 3, 4, 5 levels. Hurt more will do it. Weak breath can do it. It took a long time for us to get healed. We were just sitting with sleep for, I don't remember how many levels it was, but we just had the sleep spell for such a long time, and it just felt really strange. I was kind of tempted to walk into Cole and take the shortcut through the door to get to the shop to get herbs, but I resisted it. I wanted to, but I didn't want to. I'm like,
that one's always a tough sucker. But y'all were in good enough shape, I think, that it wasn't that necessary. I think if you were gonna do a long grind, I just think death warping over and over is faster than that. So I definitely agree with your choice not to go buy the herbs, no matter how tempting it may be. But yeah, I also like that you took down a bunch of wyverns, just slept locked them, and they had both more. But yeah, meanwhile, Ragai has defeated the Dragon Lord. So get your GGs in chat. For Ragai. Yeah, both runners put on a great race this evening, and if you want to see more of it, come back here tomorrow where these two will be duking out in game number 2. Yeah, and we can kind of see the stats. So near max HP stats on the Dragon Lord, which certainly makes if I would have known we have 162 HP Dragon Lord, I definitely would have not wanted to dive on 15 or 16. And neither player did. So yeah, we'll see if Ragai wants to join us in the chat. Bait, I know you're a Winter League champion. Is this the farthest you've made it in the Summer League thus far?
I'm actually a Winter League runner-up, not a champion.
God, I overestimate you.
Twice.
I overestimate you.
Actually, Ryguy and I were both in the semifinals in this past Winter League. He went to the finals. He eliminated me. Like, he and Diabetes were with me in the semifinals, and I last located Sword. But this is the furthest I've made it in Standard. I think in my first tournament in 2019, I made it to the quarterfinals, and that's as far as I've gone prior to this.
Well, congratulations on your run thus far, and trying to get revenge on Ryguy for knocking you out of the Winter League tournament. And with that, we are joined by Ryguy. Good race, good show. Interested in your kind of thoughts on the seed, and how you think things went. Caitlin notwithstanding.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much drama about what happened there. Seems pretty straightforward.
So the thing you might want to know is that Beta also really struggled finding Caitlin. So at one point, I think you're essentially tied on everything. I think Beta had like more experience, but that was it. If you found Caitlin first, you would have won. But yeah, both of you just like really, really struggled to find it.
Yeah, I had the whole. At least I got to the point where I knew that Grave was a waste of time and Tablet was a waste of time. I almost walked past the Rainbow Drop Cave, but I doubled back and got that at least. But yeah, it was weird because at first I thought it was one continent, so I was convinced if I kept walking up north of Garanham, I'd eventually connect over, and it wasn't one continent apparently. And then I saw Caitlin from the other side of from Swamp Continent, which is even better. And then I just got mixed up where Swamp Continent was. In my head, I thought Swamp Continent was over in like the northwestern corner of the map, and so I was trying to search over there for some river, and that wasn't working, and it was just a mess all around. So
yeah, I would say the dozens of us in chat also really struggled to be like, where are they supposed to go? Because neither of you found the path. It wasn't that hard. It was kind of just a little bit out of the way on somewhere you wouldn't naturally go, and especially once you find once you see the town from the other side, that's like, I would never just like go there, like go to where I was supposed to go. You definitely both like went to like the Charlock area, explored all around there, found a bunch of other towns and caves. At least you found the Rainbow Drop Cave, but yeah, like the exploration in the seed was very, very weird, and probably the primary difference maker in the race.
yeah, it seemed like it was going, I don't know, fine, but yeah, the whole Caitlin thing. I do remember seeing the third curse belt and having that moment of like, wait a second, I've got the fairy flute and the death necklace. Hold on, I don't need to open things anymore. So, but yeah, I still need to find Caitlin, and that was easier said than done.
Yep. So you two are going to be playing tomorrow evening. So that'll be very exciting. I look forward to watching that. Do either of you have any other thoughts on the seed?
I wish it was I wish it was more complicated in ways that didn't involve routing, because I had this kind of a similar thought that Ryguy did with the second continent out of Swamp Cave. I'm like, this is like, I thought it was like North Central or something, and I'm just like, huh. So yeah, it was a weirdly similar thought process where it was like trying to find Caitlin essentially probably in the same fashion. It's just failing over and over again. Thought I'd lost the race based on where Caitlin actually ended up being. It's like after trying to force the route multiple times and failing, like, what if it's in that spot near start that I didn't fully look at, and then it was. I'm like, oh god. But yeah, I look forward to tomorrow, but I hope the seed is more garbage than this one, like just like a lower strength start, something where we have to buy torches, something like that.
Yeah, the first thing I said when doing the opening thing is like, oh wow, Beta's gonna hate a 20 strength start, and even worse, we had like an opening broadsword. It's like, oh wow, this is too easy. But it turned out to be, not terribly easy. It wasn't like a super jet seed. Didn't give everything, but it gave a lot of things. Like no homework was required. Just finding locations was the kind of the choke point of the seed. All right. And with that, I want to thank both runners. I want to thank our other staff, Velu V, our restreamer, Shahali, our tracker. And yeah, both runners you both did great. I look forward to seeing you. And this tournament's been wonderful to take part in and watch. So with that, sign off. We're going to be heading to Nest Cardinality playing Final Fantasy Randomizer. Have a good night, everyone.